more of what you kind of see in the area. You guys are on the desert steppes, separated by this large, shimmering red sandstone plateau. He stretches across, and every now and then there are cracks within it. The Fort Daggertip, situated amongst one of the wider ones that you can see pretty much all the way through, almost like it was erected to separate the desert. Um, as you guys are on out in front of the gate, you notice while the exterior of the fort is worn from possible battles or conflicts from before, um, sprawled across the battlements down is a large or two large red banners with uh, picture of a rose kind of enveloped in flame with small design iconographies that kind of resemble uh, Genasi design um, amongst the sandstone cliff that is almost oppressive. Before you guys, there's a bunch of um, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's I just used the word before. Um, it's almost embarrassing. Um, uh, Scaffolding is the word I'm looking for. That's the word I'm looking for. Scaffolding. So there's all kinds of it. Lacklusterly webbed out across um, from the fort. Um, Seems to be maybe one or two individuals amongst the whole uh, web of it uh, connected to the thing actually working. And every now and then you get the slight kinks of metal hitting stone that kind of reverberate through the canyon. Um, it's also very gusty, very blistery, especially coming from the crack um, from the desert. Uh, oh, and they haven't let anyone in yet. So you all are sitting out there.
We're still outside the gate.
Yeah, amongst the others, and the captain as well, um, a little confused. Um, there's a bunch of commotion going on every now and then. There's uh, you know, bickering amongst people because it's not all just soldiers. It's also some of the brigands in their modified prison uniforms, um, kind of all situated out there in the front.
Did we notice if any of these spectral horseman type entities materialized within the garrison? Would we have seen that? Or did they strictly kind of do it out in the area, in the battlegrounds outside?
It looks like they were pulling apart the battle. But you haven't been inside the gate to see if there was anything going on in there.
I begin to worry that there might have been an equal amount of carnage inside of the gate.
Are we able to talk to people like on the gate?
You see a few people up. You see one or two soldiers up on the top, kind of just staring outward, like out to the void. Um, and then there is an individual who starts. You start to see coming up from the battlement, um, off the side, kind of see him get. Oh, good. Enjoy. Um, the little ones. Uh, and you kind of see him get coming from the side of the wall, and he kind of faces outward, right above the gate. I don't know what happened out there, but I'm not opening up the gates after that. Deep red skin, uh, hair, bright orange, kind of sways in the wind as it almost flickers in the wind. Brawny kind of guy, uh, in a soft, rose gold trimmed steel plate armor. Um,
Then do not open gate. Lower rope for us to climb up.
That's a
mm,
If
that's a
if
pretty big
something attempts
wall.
to follow, you can easily cut.
mm, jokes. That must mean that the conflict's over. All right, but we're going to need to see some ID. Uh, Captain kind of shoves by you, to kind of like get it into the clearing space because he's not the tallest around. He's like, "This is crazy. All right, we were called out here for a reason." It's like the figure looks over. Captain, when did you get that message? It would have had to have been at least 3 years ago. The Rose Caravan has had this bought and paid for at least 2.5 years now. Doing our own mining expeditions up on this cliff face. I think you are far done with whatever we were expected to have you here for. Please, it's not good to be in this area. You guys should all clear out. I wouldn't open the gates. Because the captain was sitting there, while the whole guy was giving off his talk, just pushing his way through the front. We just kind of like banging on the door. He's like, just open the gate. The gate starts to swing out. People start to get out of the way of the door as it opens. Um, uh, Everybody starts shuffling in. There's a couple of a few Nazi guards sitting there going through everybody's stuff and what they've got on them, taking quite a bit of the brigands and their group, kind of separating them out, if not shuffling some of them back out of the gate. um, uh, you see the imposing armored Genasi looking a bit down at this captain of the Army Coalition, um, and they're kind of having a discussion. Um, Captain looking very surprisingly confused. Um, kind of the depth of just the length it takes for communications to get that whatever they were called out to be there for had since uh, either cleared them out or whatnot. Um, but this has been in the gainful employ of the Rose Trading Company from the Jeweled City. Captain kind of brushing the back of his head, kind of throws his helmet down, his hands on his hips, and kind of gives him a salute. Kind of picks his hat back up, kind of turns around, kind of faces you guys like, oh, well, I'm gonna have my men bunk up into the here for the night. Least they could do is thank us for keeping the brigands from busting the door down. Seemed too worried about it. It was all my men down there, damn it. But shame. I'm going to go have a drink. They have drinks, by the way.
Yeah.
As he
Oh, good.
as he turns to walk away, I put a hand on the captain's shoulder and just say, "You do have my sincerest condolences for the loss of your men."
We're still standing outside of the gate, right?
You guys are like into the
Okay.
entrance.
Do they check me for papers? Because I'm pretty sure I don't have any.
What's getting in here look like? I mean, they're kind of separating people out. Where do we land? I mean, we don't exactly look like part of the company.
So a few, about three, because they're starting to clear people out, and separate them and getting a better feel of who's who, because there's really only two groups of individuals. And a small trading family, kind of gotten mixed up in the mess of that. Um, uh, so.
I walk over
By
to.
the time the three of them start to come by, the captain is kind of still like talking to you guys, and he goes, "They're good." You guys are like, "Oh, you know."
I'm like, yeah, we're with him.
That just whoa, we lost one. The world stops turning for a minute.
As the chair spins.
Yeah. We'll just tell him all the problems we solved when he gets back. Like,
We figured it all out.
yeah.
We won D&D while you were gone.
Yeah, it's like you know that guy who tried to like yank us into another portal dimension. We killed him, and now we rule the portal dimension.
We have our own domain of dread.
So while you were gone, or maybe you could hear us. I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh, okay.
So you guys were talking about the Mixish brother. It's not quite the domain of dread. I guess it would be now at this point. He's been through so many. He hasn't been able to find the fun. You remember he was being the avatar of famine. So there's only so much you can do when you have to create the things that you decide to butcher and the mother. It's real boring after eons of that. It's never forgot you guys.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and head towards the bar because it's been a lot, and I need a drink.
I'm a little beat up from that fight, so yeah, I'm going for a drink too because I want to feel better.
Same here. I'm I'm sorry. I did not catch name of town.
This is the Dagger Tip Fort, or at this point, um, if you say that out loud, um, you guys are walking to the barracks area, 'cause that's where they keep the casks and barrels of food and wine for the soldiers. Um, kind of at the bottom level for all of the so it's kind of being repurposed for not for soldiers but for the workers and the miners that are digging out the sand of the sandstone. Um, and then so the whole bottom level is kind of like a mess hall. You guys, as you guys walk past, you say that out loud. The um, general um, looks down here. It's Dagger Tip Midway. We're looking to try to capture the oasis out in the desert. Make this kind of a stopping point. We're able to fund this because of the sand that we get from sandstone. Top quality. General Rose, I take it you guys are travelers?
Yeah, we definitely fit in that category. We get around a lot. We're
I
out
think we're
here.
more like wanderers.
Definitely, it's felt that way more since I joined up with you guys. I would agree. Yes.
We are, as Havisham once was. You might call us his heirs.
Mm,
Who's Havisham?
well, you guys are doing better than he did. This is a good,
You're very kind.
this is a good, almost a year's worth of travel out in this direction.
I get wide eyed and I look at Ilix and I look at Grins like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
At least we're trying to cut that time down, get some proper roads, get some stopping points on the way, make it more amenable to travel. Kind of spread out through the whole area, give people a new start.
I pull one of my boots off and I'm dumping sand out of it. I'm like, the first thing you need to do is cut down on some of this.
Well, and he's like walking with you guys. So everybody's kind of clearing out of the court area, the center area. The cattle can travel and people can start moving back out. There was a farmland that was kind of halfway on its way to getting harvested. It was about that season. Out there. So he kind of opens the doors for you guys. You guys shuffle in, has it closed behind him. And, well, the previous group that were here were tasked to keep out the rough that's coming through the desert, just so we could have these fields. Apparently, while it is pretty sandy now, that's only been recently in the last couple of years. There used to be a fairly lush ground for farmland. Fortunately, the desert's kicked up fairly rough in the last bit, kicking a lot of sand and wind from out back.
What would have caused that kind of expansion? Or do you know?
It's whatever kind of weird weather pattern is happening over on the other side. we'd have to know what it's like on the other side of the desert for us to know why it's getting crazy over on this side. Uh, the odd part is we haven't been able to get a caravan back out into the desert that has actually made it outward. Uh, they've all got turned around. They end up exiting one of the other cracks along the plateau. Didn't even know that they were heading back through the canyons up until they saw the steps in front of them. So at this point now, we're just kind of sitting here. There was we had what we thought was going to be a settlement out by the oasis in the desert, but we haven't been able to resupply them or get word back from them. So,
how far away is this oasis, good sir?
It's a good 3 or 4 days travel, or probably even worse now with the winds kicking up like they are. It's a proverbial sandstorm on the other side of the cliffs. So that's been my life for the last year. At this point, we're just hoarding our funds until we can get a good size expedition out. Making money on sustainment. That's literally all we have here.
I look around well, with the amount of sand here, I should say that you'll have your money in no time at all.
The sandstone. It's used in potions.
In potions, you say? What kind of potions?
Well, salves. The Rose family is known for is one of the top trading companies now because their family has created the Jeweled City salves. Nice concoction of slime jelly and these red sands and some bit of gold and some family herbs and spices, and we cook ourselves up a mean health potion that can be applied to the skin and wrapped in your face, gritty texture of healing.
That is fantastic. Do you happen to have any samples for visitors? Because I could really go for
that sounds extremely useful right now.
I actually have one of these salves, but I believe, personally, I would prefer to take a rest and try and not use up a resource that we may need in a pinch later on.
What, the sand?
I can give you sand. Fortunately, the trade generally goes in one direction. We normally don't get the kind of jelly we would need or the materials to make them here.
I see. That's very
jelly?
unfortunate.
Like what kind of jelly?
Little cultivated slimes. They're red. They can be big. They eat grass.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Sometimes they roll around like big little dewdrops of magic and sticky sugar.
That sounds far less dangerous than some of the other things we've hunted recently.
Oh yeah. Well, they're. He's like, kind of puts me into my biology classes, but he kind of like this big kind of figure just kind of shrinks down his arm, kind of like, and he's like trying to like he's like so there's like subspecies of, and he goes into the details of he's like, now that's completely different from oozes. Oozes are mean. They kind of separate out. You know, if you've ever thought of like bees and wasps, bees, you cultivate them.
Right.
They're they're you know they're they're livestock. They're nice. They make honey. They're our friends. Hornets are angry, vile women who will sting and hurt you just because they can. That's the difference.
Back where I come from, we had a special type of forest hornet. You had
Do
to be
not
very.
encourage him.
I it's like jump out of it. Like what?
I'm like, sorry, I was. Drinks. We were headed for drinks.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah. He kind of like twists the cap and kind of like starts going to everybody.
But if
Question
you could
in
collect some of
this
these forest hornets, their wings were particularly useful.
in the sandstone that you harvest here, have you ever come across any veins of turquoise?
I think you misunderstand. The red sandstone we're digging isn't just any regular red sandstone. Uh, and it has to be sandstone that is kind of generated through magical means, uh, either by naturally through like a forced sedation, where it takes sand and kind of throughout a very quick amount of time, kind of like magically creates sticks the sand to the sandstone. Um, or if someone like now back in the Jewel City, we have dedicated mages consistently creating sandstone uh, to harvest until now. This we most likely think is going to be just sheer solid sandstone. I haven't really found anything yet in the inside. Um, Generally
So
through a create earth spell.
I see. If if while you are going through all of this, you happen to come across a particularly unique strain of turquoise with with white laced throughout instead of the usual black, would it be
Mm,
possible that you could get a hold of me and
you know, I don't pay that much attention, but we do get a lot of precious stones and metals and whatnot that is given to us in exchange or instead of gold or for the funds we require or the provisions that we request. You know, the usual. But if you go and talk to Journey out over into the main office building, she sits around the bottom. You won't
Journey was the name?
Journey. Yeah, you won't miss her. Uh, she's a little eclectic. Um, lots of lots of uh, lots of stuff going on in her brain. Lots of hair. Uh, Lots of energy. Uh, all for rocks. Not interested in a relationship. Already tried. You know, it's just how the cookie crumbles.
Grins is like, great. So we started with biology, now we moved on to geology. This is just great.
Perhaps you would prefer chemistry?
Very funny. Actually,
I didn't do too well in chemistry. That's why I'm at the guard.
Grins is just gonna like take a step back, pull out his pan flute, and start playing a tune.
Yeah. Oboe performance. That play has to kind of House is kind of packed. Especially now, there's a lot of soldiers there too.
We got a 23.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
oh yeah, you carry the house. And everybody's like, yeah. It's almost like a full
It's
blown.
the only way to end that conversation.
Literally almost makes this whole place into a full blown tavern. Like you complete the ambience. Um,
All right. So between taking drinks and chilling out a little bit, does that count as a short rest for us?
yeah, yeah. You guys,
And
y'all go and you chill out. Just have your merriments and
short
pass out
rest.
on the cots they go and they're pulling out. Like the whole bottom has like a whole bunch of the military cots that they had, kind of just upright, folded, like 8 rows of like 5, just up against the up against the wall.
So mechanics question. I have damage. How much do I heal after taking a short rest?
Well, I figure you would roll your hit die if you want to do it that way.
Okay, so I'm seeing something here for a druid. It says on the short rest thing, hit die 1d8 plus 2, total 5. I'm not sure. Not sure what that means in D&D Beyond or.
Let's see, if you hit the short rest button, yeah, and then you would click how many dice you're rolling,
Just
and
one?
then you would take, yeah, if you're just doing the one,
Okay.
and then you would click the take a short rest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you
All right, and everybody who is listening to me would also get an extra d6.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't change my hit points at all. I'll just roll a d8, I guess, and add 2 to it or whatever.
But yeah, I guess yeah. And then d6.
An additional d6 and plus 2. Only 1. Cool.
Okay, so roll a d8 for 2,
So 6.
which puts me up to my full health again.
Nice. I feel a little better.
Yeah.
Spell
Yeah.
slots are only after
Rolled
a
at
long rest?
11. I'm still down 5 hit points, but I'm a lot better than I was.
Well, I'm down 10, so
No, I'm down 5 after rolling hit dice.
I'm
down
down
10
10 after rolling.
Oh.
Heal.
I'm
Okay.
feeling great.
You win. You didn't take any damage, did you?
I
got
took 2.
punched in the freaking face.
No, you did. I know, but Grins.
Just 2. It was there was plenty of attempts on my there were plenty of attempts on my life, but
Yeah, they tried to grab you by the ears like a rabbit.
multiple times.
Nice.
You wascally rabbit.
It looks over on the front door. Where is everybody? Is everybody okay? Dyra,
Like,
Yeah,
Felix is
I'm-
like, I'm okay, breaks an arrow out of his leg. I'm just fine, throws it away.
So I go up to the bar and like
Or I think we're around some like casks of stuff that we're serving out of.
yeah, there's like a metal, there's like a center
okay.
pillar.
Okay, right there.
One of the center pillars has like some of the casks. They always kind of sit on tables with cups on it.
After my performance, I sit down and I just like have this satisfied look on my face, like, yeah. Yeah, I did good.
Early afternoon.
Yeah, I sit down with my ale or whatever it is, and just clunk, clunk, clunk,
I'm watching with like my eyebrows going up with every gulp.
There's like half of it left. Very tired looking. Yeah.
I lean over to Grins and I'm like, he's going to be having awkward conversation very soon with someone. I don't know who.
I just like kind of lean back into the conversation. I'm like, yeah, and I'm gonna be there when it happens.
The Aero Coalition soldiers kind of like looking over, sees him there, like, oh, well, somebody clucked you harder, didn't they?
If
He just, like,
if you knew the
freaked out.
crap that I had seen in the last 24 hours.
I'm gonna go get another drink, ladle it out. I just kind of walk over to Zendira and I like hand it to him.
I push the empty glass aside and take it.
I go sit back down beside Ilix.
And she was.
I kind of look up.
And we both just watched. Yeah, we both just sit and watch Z drink.
Wrong place, wrong
You know,
time, but
when I came to this land, I didn't think I would meet two like you. It really touches me. In the past 24 hours, we we've traveled through portals. We've met gods. We've fought gods. We've seen. They must have been demons. Do you think they were demons? I think they're demons.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And yet
I
we're
lean
still
back over
here, unscathed. Well, I mean, you're unscathed. I'm not unscathed.
Mildly scathed, maybe.
But you know, they say music is good for healing, and really, Grins, I think that you're really just you have a great soul, and you're good for healing people, both body, mind, and spirit.
I just kind of nod. I'm like, I look at Ilix and I wink, and I'm like, music is good for healing, pal. You know what? I think you need to sing a song.
I used to sing this one back in the forest by myself, alone, with no one to hear.
performance.
I start breaking out into some like I start singing in Druidic. It is really.
Roll for
I was gonna say, can I roll for performance here?
Disadvantage, as you are young.
Okay, so and I have a -1 on performance, so please be good.
Oh no!
Oh, that's an 8, and oh man, the other was a 19. That's
So us then. So some of there are some workers, and there's just a bunch of workers and soldiers that are down here, and a lot of the workers have gotten to the point about a good 20 seconds into Zendira's song that now's a good time to go back to work. And about 5 soldiers also decided that was the same thing they were doing, even though they, had nowhere else to be at this point. It was like, I should probably go and find something to do as well.
as they're walking out, I start like standing up in my chair, like stepping up on the table.
imagine the customers, like the amount of people in here grew like 10 or 15 when Grins was playing his music, and then it lost like 20 as soon as Z started
I
singing.
mean, it's crowded because the soldiers. There's quite a few soldiers that weren't alive, and they weren't expected to be there. So there's just like it's pretty crowded. So it went from like 50 to maybe like 66 when Grin started playing. It is a big hall. Rather emptied out
I'm
in some
gonna,
ways.
as he's going along, I'm picking up on the rhythm that he's singing, and I'm like, okay, this has been enough amusement. Now I'm gonna try to salvage this now. So I'm just gonna start playing at the drum along with him and singing like, or
The drum?
yeah, I know how to play it so that
Yeah.
it can be done nicely. And I'm like
You went to
switching
college
between,
for this.
like I'll switch between that and my pan flute at different points. But I start accompanying him. Can I roll for performance to try to salvage this operation?
Yes.
All right. That is a 28.
Holy crap.
Well, the rest of them aren't leaving.
All right.
It's
I was
15.
I'm starting to think I'm
15, man. So that's not good.
I'm starting to think I'm the digital Wheaton and Matt is the digital Taliesin.
Guess that did give that
So-
just the gold.
As this is going along,
I'm not sure I can save anything else, so be careful.
that's fine. I'm feeling the music here. I make a switch partway through, and I go from singing in
Druidic
Druidic
to
to
Gnomish?
something, huh?
From Druidic to Gnomish.
To something much darker.
Ooh.
Oh.
Just different language, different tongue, much darker, harsher sounding, but still somewhat melodic. So,
What
I
type
mean,
of
if any
language?
of what I'm doing is melodic.
What type of language?
Do I recognize it? Because I speak a lot of languages.
I don't think that you do. It doesn't matter a whole ton, but let me DM you real quick here.
Ooh. Ooh.
It doesn't matter much. You guys just looked at my character sheet.
As this starts happening, like I'm like slowing down, and I just kind of like sit down. I'm like, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. I'm like, Alex, did I take this too far?
No, yep. And I suppose, yeah. Nobody else really understands the language either. But that's fine because you were doing Druidic before, so no one was understanding that. So it just sounds a little different, a little darker. And that's kind of like, oh, change it up a little bit. Like when a rapper changes styles, and it's like, oh,
All right, we keep going.
I was gonna say I probably trail off at some point here. Let's see here.
While this is going on, Ilix is going to kind of wander over to the bar and just find someone
no
who
bar.
looks like they.
We're around casks. We're serving
Oh,
out of casks.
yeah.
come on up. I hear you guys.
I think he said he can still hear us.
Okay.
I guess leave you guys.
Oh, okay. So Ilix is gonna try and find someone who looks like. Oh. All right. What are you?
I'm just. Grins is just sitting there thinking, and he's like, I wonder what languages the Dragonborn sings in if he's drunk. Big life goal.
I'm fairly certain I'm not going to remember any of this in the morning.
As per usual.
He'll probably find me like out of bed. It's like my eyes just barely open, like crushing up some herbs or something.
We'll tell him it was a head trauma.
Yeah, I got punched in the face, something fierce.
Mm.
Suppose. Well, oh, sorry about that. But they
All right.
were able to come up, and when they weren't, so I had to go and get them. All right. So if
So
I was gone, I missed it because I wasn't going to connect my Bluetooth from downstairs.
Not much.
We were just. I was just wondering what kind of languages I could get the Dragonborn to sing in if he had one.
Few different, but
some creepy ones, some creepy ones, and some familiar ones.
Some of them are his first language. Some of them, some of them he's super fluent in. Some of them, he learned in school. So it's like he's softly reading a book, pretty well. I don't know.
So Ilix is going to try and find someone who looks like they've been here for a while, not a soldier, because apparently those are all new. So someone who looks like they're from the probably a Genasi, and just to ask, have you ever seen any creatures like that in these parts before, or is this a new discovery with these?
So you walk up to Janasi. He has like a large rucksack with a lot of stuff on it, sitting up kind of like up against the table. He's got a drink on him, a roll of bread. And kind of Earth Janasi. I kind of looks over there. He's like, those, I don't know, man. Every now and then, you get stories, scary stories. You get, they tell the kids at night, especially on the way up here. As, the horsemen come and snatching them up, and if you're out late at night, or if you fight with your brother or sister too long, I heard it was pretty wild out there.
That would be understatement. That was nightmare. That was legitimate nightmare.
Well, I mean, I was crossing the desert. That was how it goes. You guys aren't soldiers. You guys coming here for?
We are wanderers and wayfarers, just trying to be helpful.
Did you come for the desert? I think we have a surplus of sand. Want to get some for the road? Good material.
We were unexpectedly diverted. We're not even entirely sure how.
Well, welcome to Daggertip Midway.
Thank you, friend.
You got any questions? Feel free. My name's Blaken. Um, I got a few minutes, I suppose, and then until my expedition starts. So, have me and maybe two others, and we're gonna see if we can do our daily out. See if we can get somewhere else besides right back where we started again.
What do you tend to see when you are out in the desert before you end up back here?
You'll have to ask. I'm going with some veterans. I've only been out once, but I think I'm heading out with Drust. He's been out before. I even heard he once resupplied the Oasis um, before it all got crazy. Um, so I'm meeting up with him in a little bit, and we're gonna see if we can go out. But since I've been out there, all you can really see is sand. It's you know uh, you wear the goggles, and it's just in your face all the time, and then
Da, da.
and then it stops, and you're facing the grasslands again. It's, crazy. We put some posts though this time, so maybe we can follow them out until see if we can.
And how long has this sandstorm been present?
For about. Well, it was. Let's see. I've been here for a few months. Been like that for the whole time I've been here. Uh, uh, but Dress says it was recent. And he's been here for like. I think he was one of the few that were here before. Uh, we bought it up, so he says it's been like that for at least 2 years, but not in any way like kicking us back out. That's been real recent. So
Is it just me, or is this sandstorm somewhat reminiscent of the maelstrom coming from the Aero Isles?
yeah, I guess I don't ever think the maelstroms ever kicked somebody back out, but yeah.
No, mostly it just sent them to the bottom.
Yeah. You want to know what else has been real recent? Those real big flying bugs. At least in the last week or two. So first,
I have not encountered any of these yet. What do they look like?
gray, weird like conish shape, thing, big wingspan, um, lots of big buzz, um, big claws, ugly face.
When you say big, do you mean big like big beetle, or big like cat, or big like horse?
Big, like a large dog. They run up on you and they'll knock you over.
Have you ever tried riding them?
Not like that big. I mean, well, maybe you.
I'll bet I could ride one of
That's
those
my friend.
bugs.
Yeah. Or it would just pick you up and take you away.
Oh, I'm sorry, Z. I didn't notice you come over and join us.
Oh, hey, Dragonborn.
Like I walk up, I'm like, yeah, don't worry, I'm watching him. I won't let him ride any bugs.
I'm like, all right. He comes finishes his drink. He's like, well, he picks up his backpack and he puts his big old rucksack on his back. And Moth, he puts his goggles there sitting on his forehead and kind of brings him down. Are you guys just gonna hang out and head? I mean, I think there's a town a bit west, back west. Uh,
Now, I think we're gonna try to head a little further east. Where's your expedition going?
we're gonna try to get across the through the desert to the Oasis settlement. See if we can resupply them or rescue them back out of the desert. Uh,
And this is the sand through the sandstorm that spins people around. Do you have you said you have a
Ain't no
plan?
sandstorm gonna spin me around. We're on a holy mission from the Lady of the Wood.
well, we
Which-
put posts
Which way was
out-
east?
We put posts out the first time when we leave. They're different colors for different directions.
Well, how could you
Um,
get lost? We came all the way through that maelstrom, and you can't make it through this sandstorm.
The one to the one we took out all of the ones we didn't need when they went nowhere. So the Oasis one is still erected.
Guys, I don't know why you're wasting your time. I'm gonna go get another drink. Oh my gosh.
So we put posts out with the white flag or the white ribbons tied to them, long enough to see to the Oasis, but we can't seem to reach the fourth one. We end up getting turned around somewhere, and then the closest we've gotten
You're muted, Sam.
was reaching a distant blue one. Put us really far north until we pulled out to a smaller crack, just a few yards
much-
away from Dagger Tip.
How much distance is between posts?
We usually tried to keep them within eyesight, but that isn't working anymore. It can't be a thing. So unfortunately, a bit too far now for our comfort. We set out some smaller red posts now in between the three that we've reached. So part of our mission is to once we reach the third one, pull the rest of them away from after that. So because they're going to lead us to nowhere, and we'll try again to get to the fourth one. There's 9 of them to the Oasis.
And we're looking for 4. I look at Ilix. I'm like, how good is your sense of direction, really?
My sense of direction is quite good, but I am not used to such conditions as a blinding sandstorm.
Maybe we should ask Z how. Oh, dang it.
Oh my goodness! Did Z have too much to drink? Who gave him all that alcohol?
You encouraged me. I am just as much a victim as Z in these circumstances. Besides, I didn't see you jumping in to rescue him when he was about to be embarrassed for the rest of his. I saw a budding actor in his career burning down to the ground, and I rescued him.
Flying back and forth behind
Who
each
started
one of
fire?
them. over exaggeratingly mimicking the expressions of each of you back and forth at each other.
I stop for a moment. Ekern. First off,
Yeah.
First off, great Dragonborn impression. Big fan. Well done. Second off, do you actually see things? Like, how do you see things? Can you see through a sandstorm for any distance?
Um. So I was waiting for a good time to tell you guys. So when I touched that big old crystal and got a good couple of shocks in, um, I broadcasted outward uh, pretty far, but it did allow me to do a few things. So I can now radar out like the ocean
What is
water. Uh,
radar?
uh, Ripples of the
Radar.
water.
Ripple.
I send them out,
Ripples.
and they hit something, and it ripples back like a pond. And I can do that for the golden hexerons. Um, uh, I can try to fine tune it for maybe these posts. Um, if they're of a super mundane material, maybe it might be extremely hard, and I might not be able to do it too far away, but if we start getting close to one, I'll be able to find it.
Pond vision.
Uh,
Interesting
I'm sorry. Are
concept.
we just having this conversation with Eckern right in front of Blacken here, and he can't see Eckern?
Yes.
I come stumbling back out like sandstorm, shmam storm. Oh, hi, Ekern.
Oh dear, I believe we may have just stepped in it.
We are practicing, rehearsing for a full troupe performance. It's called Ekern, a comedy.
No, it's
I laugh and I point at in the air where Ekern is.
Am I the only one noticing that we do a lot better against single targets, but we're no good at crowd control? Sorry,
yeah.
just random.
Um. So, uh, he's like, no, if you guys, hey, we all have our things right. Cool. Um, I'm I gotta go get my harpoon, and I'm gonna go.
Hey, I, you guys have like a bunkhouse or a place that uh, I could meditate?
uh, the the shit house, possibly. This
Alex.
there's not really much of like a solitary room.
Okay.
Alex,
Let's see. Let's see
this
what
is
else.
bad. This is very bad. I think we should go with this expedition.
I believe that may be our best course of action, except for one little detail.
I'll just
Yeah, a
meditate
little.
here.
Uh,
Zindaira, how long can you remain as creature?
I don't know. I never tried. Maybe an hour for the big ones.
Hmm.
How much for like a small one? Like maybe one that could almost fit in a pocket
I
and be safely carried through a sandstorm, hypothetically speaking?
I might be able to do that. I've never tried. Bugs get squished.
Um, how about a mouse?
Well, those are harder to catch. I, Hi. I start my
You know what I
thinking
was just
gets
thinking?
fuzzy longer I'm animal and I lose track of time, so I don't know.
You know, I was just thinking, Z. Uh, Hamsters, they're desert animals, aren't they? Wouldn't you be more comfortable as a desert animal right now?
For a
might.
shoe?
I might. Okay, I'll be a
Hamsters are
hamster.
lower energy than
I
shrews,
just
man.
pass out like backwards.
Well, dang, that settles it. Oh, look at Elix. You're gonna have to carry him.
He's going to be ticked when he wakes up.
He's gonna have a headache when he wakes up.
It's like, don't worry. When he wakes up, I'll smooth everything over. It'll be
By telling him
fine.
it's all my fault.
Well, you're the one who's probably going to be holding him on your shoulder when he wakes up, so I mean,
Just as long as I don't
I'm not
wake up
gonna lie,
tied
it's
to a
not gonna look
barrel.
good for you. It's not gonna look good for you, but I'll put in a good word.
What must be, must be. Hmm. All right.
Hey, we're going with your expedition. We may be of assistance in finding that fourth rock.
Does your expedition have cart?
Oh, I mean, this is a.
You know, so we can put a drunk in it.
I mean, yeah, because we're. Come on, you'll see.
I
Yes.
I try to pick Zendira up and just like little kid, just like, and just hold his hands, like try to keep him balanced.
Prince is like, I really wish I had taken that one mage up on learning the capture image spell. Alright, I'm gonna walk along behind.
Our DM is just watching this like, what a mess.
Interesting. So you guys get out, and in the general courtyard area, right close to the gate, there's a small, there's a good, um, more on the heavier set dwarf, in some uh, breathable robes, wraps, uh, kind of prepared for the desert stuff. Um, he's holding on to a good sized staff, kind of sits just above his head. Um, and then there's a larger human, um, in some leathers, and he's got himself kind of start with like a shawl. He's kind of going about to cover his face up and sitting over his head. Um, and he's holding. Um, he's got a whole quiver of these longer, like metal poles, um, and he's holding on to a harpoon crossbow-like device. as well as another what you guys see as a winged genasi. And she is in the same kind of like wraps, and some leather armor as well. Um, and Blaken kind of joins up with him. It's like, all right, this is the group over there. That's Morin, and he points over at the dwarf. He's going to be moving us along through the sandstorm, uh, along with Yana over there, and she's also going to be helping us um, to move us through the desert. Uh,
Excellent. Where can we stow our friend?
the guy's like, you guys are coming along? Great. Could always use more eyes, I suppose. You guys got a way to block the sand from your face?
If one was interested in purchasing a set of these fashionable goggles that I see that have been adopted by this expedition, where would one look?
Blake kind of goes. He kind of throws one. He kind of throws them down at you guys, onto you, like your shoulder or like your hands or something. He's like, "No, grabbed them. Barracks.
Excellent.
Here you go, girl." And he kind of walks up behind you guys.
That's the best evil.
Do you think we could get a tinted pair for Z?
You won't be able to see the sun. You'll be fine. All right. Yeah, we'll put them in the back with the rice. You guys head out the gate, and there is almost like a skiff. It's got like two sturdy rudders on the side, and like a big square tarp, like a sail. Go ahead and set them on in the back. Grab onto some of these ropes. I'm gonna get pushing out here tonight, or see if we can see less without the sun's glare.
Still trying to think of some way to cut through the sandstorm.
And, it gets pretty blinding when the sun's out. He kind of picks up some of the sand. It's kind of from the pouring out of the canyon, and he kind of rolls a little in his hand. And he goes, and he like blows it out up towards where the sun's at, just peeking almost just past the canyon. And as it hits the sun, it like shimmers out and kind of like getting hit by a disco ball right in front of your face. It's like you look a little too close to the sun and you won't see much for a while, at least a few seconds.
Oh, man. It's really gonna suck to have a hangover here. Glad it's not me.
Maybe throw a blanket over his head.
Keep saying
like
that.
the right thing to do.
We'll just cover him with the rice tarp. Just put him on the rice bags and
The
Zendira's head's just kind of like poking out. He's all swaddled in. glasses on. Um, it's like, all right. And Morin goes and he kind of waves his wand a bit and kind of bubbles out just just halfway or three-quarters of the way through the sail. Um, and then the wind genasi starts to push air from the inside, and it starts to circulate through the bubble, um, and pushes on the sail, um, and it slowly starts to skid out through the canyon. Um, on the floor of the deck, some nice white wood. Uh, it's been polished out, so it's nice and slick. Um, Sand doesn't stay on it, doesn't get caught in there. Keeps the ship nice and light. Uh, there's uh, few harpoon crossbows. There's almost like good 2 barrels full of these rods. A bunch of crates that are filled with some grains, um, the rice bags. Um, there's a few water barrels, more so for you guys, just in case you guys get turned around in the desert way longer than you expect. And then following behind are 2 other kind of almost carts on skids, like sleighs, just in case they needed to evacuate instead. They had space for other people. You guys start to see a whole bunch of abandoned scaffolding on the inside of the canyon. The top, climbing almost 100 feet, 200 feet up. It's high. And then you get to the end of the plateau. You guys break into the actual desert. Not really getting the extent, but you can see the wind and the sand lapping the front of the bubble, kind of every now and then catching the front part of the skiff that isn't right inside the bubble, and kind of pulling it, jerking it to one side or the other, as the two kind of correct the course. And right when you exit, you see the first solid wood pole climbs about 15-20 feet, and then this big strips of white burlap wrapped around the top, tied, and the 2 tail ends of it flowing out a good 10 feet long, in the direction of the wind. Blaken goes, "We're looking for those," as he tries to keep his sound up, because even inside the bubble, the wind and sand hitting the edge, it still has such a very loud, overbearing sound.
As we're going along, I'm like nodding and I'm like, okay. I have a real quick question for you though. Why all the harpoons?
Ah, the bugs! We didn't generally carry them until recent, but yeah.
I look at Ilix and I'm like, I have a feeling these bugs don't just go squish.
How long has it been
No,
since I've been thrown
they're
in the deck?
big.
Big bugs, yeah.
I think some of the smallest flyers are like it's like holding the size of like a medium-sized dog. It's like, there's some crawling worms.
How
Then there are I like to call the local fauna. They're the spiders, the crabs. Pretty sure they're just crabs. They skitter across. Uh,
Hmm.
How long has it been since I've been thrown in the back?
maybe about 10 minutes or so.
Okay, we just got you. Okay.
You guys saw about two smaller. They're about 5 feet tall, um, and they have this this red this red tarp that's tied to the top. Um, and every now and then, the dwarf swings his staff over, and it kind of gives like this odd white, milky white, um, lightless shine. It's like the shining of like it doesn't give off any actual light itself. But as he waves it across, the tips of the red and the tips of the big white ones, um, as you can see, almost the second one in the distance now, the tips of them could like maybe a foot at the end of each, um, especially for the white ones, almost like reflective tape. Um, it's like number two. And you're like, all right, keep going. You guys are skating through. Um, is anybody looking out into the distance?
Ilix is.
Alex, with your high passive perception, um, I want you to roll me a d6.
3.
All right. So, you'll want this first. Ooh, new paper. That's not new paper. New paper. I don't know. I didn't fix the table. I apologize. All right. So, as you're looking at it, you're hearing the smacking of the sand. Um, it sounds almost like it's getting louder, but as it gets to a certain point of volume that you can now tell the difference. And it's not a it's not the sand anymore. It's now this heavy hum. It
Does anyone,
starts to get a bit louder. Uh, uh, Blake and the human individual, they go to pick up their crossbows and they load a bolt inside. It's a long harpoonish kind of thing. And you're one of them go, all right, we're not alone. Don't shoot until you see him cross the threshold of the sand.
it's not his favorite weapon, but Ilix is going to pull out his longbow for this.
Mm-hmm. Like, careful. Wooden arrows don't fly very far in the sand.
You have alternative.
Well, it is a longbow, so you might be able to pop one of these off. And he points over at the barrels of one of these long harpoons. They're in the shape of an arrow. They're just metal, a bit longer. Probably throw them through your atlatl. It wouldn't be as long as their crossbows, but it would still be a good 60 feet.
We will try that.
Because they're just shy of the size of a javelin.
Okay.
They're like a good
He says
a normal size harpoon.
60-foot range then?
Yep.
Okay. And those are, I'm assuming, strength based?
You're using the atlatl, so no, you are slinging those with dexterity. Unless you're a strength based.
I it's the same for me either way. I've got a +2 to either one. So
yeah. So I guess then it wouldn't matter what you loaded into the atlatl then. Because it wouldn't.
yeah, Felix will go ahead and load up one of the harpoons into the atlatl.
And normal things can be coated in stuff, but it's a one-time use with the coating. If they don't have the porous
Gotcha.
ability. So as that starts to happen, the buzzing gets louder. You start to hear it in 1 or 2, 3 more locations. I'm going to need you all to roll initiatives.
Should I take a risk and roll it individually?
Am I even part of this battle?
I've got a
I need to
16.
roll initiative.
Well, I got a 16 as well. Not too bad.
It was a 16 and went 6. Which gets me a 7.
Which one of you two has the higher dexterity?
Dexterity of 16.
Yeah. Grins is higher.
Oh. Okay. Good. Here. All right. So what's the highest number we got? Grins with a.
We got 2 16s.
Yeah. But Grins has the higher dex, so he probably goes first.
All right. Yep. So we'll do it that way. So okay, at the top of the round, buzzing through the sand, almost pushing the sand out of its way as it plows through it. You see this dripping in this like weird black green kind of like bile out of this like jagged misshaped jaw. One large glowing eye that kind of sits on a stalk and kind of like rolls up and down. And 3 rows of these scythe-like, almost like praying mantis kind of, just dangling all in like different shapes or different hooks and curves and sizes. The wing pattern, it has 4 of them, but they beat in this odd pattern that's hard to tell because they're not all the same size. So it's all sporadic. Yeah, curled, gets wider towards the end. And it's this veiny, pulsating kind of like, like if you've ever seen a grub up close, like comes screeching through, and hits the dirt in front of you guys, bounces out, rolls through the dirt before it disappears out again. You kind of hear the humming pick back up as it the one comes plowing through, kind of looking down, kind of shrieks out in this high pitched shrill. But looking at you guys,
Is there anything about these bugs that's reminiscent of like those caretakers that were in the library where we found Eckern?
are they shaped close? I suppose.
I guess what I'm asking is, could these things be like corrupted constructs, or are they actually biological?
They don't look natural. With any form of schooling. So like grins at the college or you with archaeology, like anybody with any kind of schooling sees understand biological things tend to have some symmetry to them. And these just don't. If anything, they look heavily mutated out. So corruption of some sort. The one eye is weird. Um, and with it, widening feature, um, a similar hum buzz, one eye. Yeah, you could put two together, if that's what it looks inclined to believe. Insulate.
Eckern, I think these are some of your old friends.
She ain't no friend of mine. But I do recognize. I'm not sure. It could be one of the things that we locked away. It seems to be a common problem then.
The
But then that
is
means there's a
indeed.
whole center, and if they're corrupted, other things get corrupted as well. Uh, Sorters, uh, machinery, uh, incinerators, uh, burrowers, anything that might have been that facility, might not be the same. Everything was kind of automated, so everything moved.
Did the power stations and the thrones of the maid tend to be made around water sources and that kind of thing, as most common civilizations are?
If not, we brought the water there.
If I can be awake at this point. Ilix, you feel like a tug on your shirt behind you.
I turn around. Oh,
Like I've kind of got.
do not expect you up just soon.
I'm holding I've got the goggles on. I'm like holding the cloth over my face or my hood over my face. I'm like, Ilix, I think we've been kidnapped again.
No, but we are in a bit of trouble.
What's happening? I can't see anything.
So they the one gives off a high trill, and for let's see, I got grins with +1 Constitution. That doesn't die with a +2 Constitution. I've got Ilix with +1 Constitution. So Ilix and grins. Can I get you guys to roll a Constitution saving throw? Sindira is hearing the ringing in his own head right now.
20.
20.
8 total.
Oh no. So grins, it's annoying. Um, Ilix has ringing in his head, and he is deafened. Um,
Is it deafened?
you are deafened for the rest of the round.
Ah, ah.
So just a little bit more than Zendara is right now on his own accord.
I'm like, this buzzing is getting annoying. Bug's gonna go squish his right.
And then that leads to Grin's turn. There are now two of them. One of them is towards the front right. The other one is a little closer to you, off to your left, straight out. Um, and then there was the one that came careening through, hit the dirt, and then went off. Might still be out there.
Okay, about how far away are these things?
Right now about 20 feet. The other one up in front is about 30 feet ahead because he's a little further up.
All right, and are the our companions
They are on.
act?
Oh yeah,
Or okay,
yeah. They're available. They're all grabbing their stuff.
okay. Um, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and whip out my drum, and seeing as they're all described to me at this point as within 40 feet, I'm going to go ahead and expend a charge to attempt to, well, force them to make Constitution saving throws of their own, and they will be stunned and muted until the next turn if they fail. Otherwise, they have disadvantage on all attack rolls. So I pull out the drum. I'm like, two can play this game. I'm like, how do you like it? How do you like it?
It's like the initial boom, starts to let all the bones go. They start to just tap on the sides and gives out this like odd, um, quickening beat that just brings like this like stressful anxiety. Just rolls up with it just feels like it doesn't get any faster. It feels like it's speeding up, but that's mostly just the heartbeat. Um, and the shaking bone starts to give out this whispering cacophony of screams and coughs and voices. Um, and you said a constitution. So what was the DC for that one?
So I expend a charge. So
40
these
feet.
Constitution saving throws, spell save would be 14. Gosh, where is it? So 16. Because I'm plus 2 for the yeah, for the djembe.
All right. I got a I got a 10 minus 1 and a 6 minus 1. And the one that went flying out is still within 40 feet. Got an 18 minus 1. So at least the ones you see kind of start to everything starts to get real spragging. Like the whole thing starts to jerk and writhe, and things aren't working well. Like its wings, and it's thrashing and reaching out, and they both kind of pop pop hit the ground hard. Um, they kind of right themselves up and get on their uh, big misshapen legs. The back end of them dragging. Um, as a reaction, the one that did not thrill, um, the eyeball stock on it goes and looks out towards your direction, um, grins, and yes, it is muted. The humming sounds interesting, just drowned out by the drum, um, and you can't hear it whirring up. Um, you just get an immediate lightning bolt that goes shooting out through, almost like a static connection as you link yourself to it and it touches back at you. Um, yeah, like in your head. Um, in your head, you literally, it's almost like everything else kind of darkens, and it's just you and this creature that kind of stares out at you. Um, and you feel you almost can see the wasping smokes of your magic reaching out and touching at the thing, and as it lashes and kind of curls around in this soft graying smoke, um, as it touches the mutated bug, um, it starts to change its hue and get uh, staticky, almost like a rolling thunderstorm, and then kind of follows back up towards you like lighting gunpowder, and then touches you back, and does 6 of thunder damage.
Is that an attack roll or a saving throw?
It is a reaction
Not
to
just
being
okay.
damaged
There's no okay.
or
Okay.
acted upon.
So that would put me
It's their
down 6.
effect, static cling.
As that happened,
Seems
I'm like friggin' bugs.
seems to happen when reached out with magic in this case. Who knows what else? Um, it is Illich's turn. The human looks over, grins like, "Watch out! They like to touch." That's a
Like,
mean shock to them.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go ahead before my turn's over, if that's okay, to use a bonus action.
Because that
Oh,
wasn't a magic attack. That was that was an item in the land.
yes. So, and I suppose actually Ilix and Z are still deafened, both, aren't they?
For this turn, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
But Z is not deafened because he has a +2 Constitution modifier, so it does not quite. The humming does not quite affect him
Okay, so he's not deafened. Um,
any less than he already did to himself. But he can hear things. He just has to bring them being drunk.
all right, so you were saying I do have my bonus action?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Bardic Inspiration on Z then, seeing as he can hear me. So he's got an extra. I'm gonna,
Oh, that's right. They have to hear.
So I'm like, Z, I know you're not feeling great, but you got this, man. I don't know.
Z is like, why are you yelling?
So you gotta, within the next 10 minutes, you can add a D8 to an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw after you see the roll.
I could have used that.
Can't hear me.
No, I'm saying I could have used it before the bug.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Um,
So there's the one that zapped back at Grins, and then you said
yes,
two of them failed their saves and
the one
fell
that
into the sand.
the one that is next to Grin's about 20 feet off to his left, hit the ground, and shocked back at him, because it had its action reaction. Um, the other one had used its action to give out the shrilling screech, which deafened you. Um, but that one also failed. Both of those that you are visibly able to see failed there. They are now skittering around the ground. Um, the third one that came careening through hit the sand and came rolling back out of your guys' eyesight or sight line. It did not fail its saving throw, and you can still hear it buzzing out in the sand.
Gotcha. And I can. They're both of these two that failed their saving throw are close enough to be within range for me to hit them.
Oh yeah, one of them
Okay.
for you is like 25, 30 feet away, and the other one's like 25. Yeah, they're both about because you're on the other side of.
Okay.
So you're about the same distance from either of them.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got the atlatl ready, and I'm going to go for the one that hit Grins.
Yeah.
This is
Little
why I
bit
hate digital dice. That was the first attack. That was an 8. And now we're going with physical dice. Because I got burned again. Okay, that is better. 19 total.
A 19 hits, yeah. So we'll do the damage for one of the two.
So the harpoon is how much damage?
The harpoon is an 8.
D8.
0 and 8 plus 1. Piercing.
8 plus. Oh, it's a +1?
Plus 1. Yep.
Okay, it's
And
a
then your
+1 weapon,
and then
or
your
it's just
modifier.
+1 to damage?
It's +1 to the damage. Not the roll, the throws, but the damage.
Okay, gotcha. So D8. 1 on the die. +2, and then +1, so 4 total.
So 4. So you go and you took
But at the same time that happens, Katya's reaction fires off, and there's another D6 of fire damage, is what she's currently on. So an additional 3, so 7 damage total. 3 fire damage.
Right, and then as you you hit it, it kind of cuts one of the legs off, and it kind of hits the ground right on top of the pole, and it goes and looks at you. And it's almost like everything kind of darkens out, and it's just you and this creepy bug, and they're just looking at each other. And you see an image, kind of like an after image of you flinging this harpoon at it, and the harpoon leaving images of itself hitting the creature, and then it looks at you, and its eyes glow red, and the harpoon that's sitting next to it that it's leaning up on starts to look like it's getting static rolling of electricity, and then from the sand kind of cloud, lightning comes and strikes down on the pole instead, um, as they are lightning rods, and they attract static cling. Um,
Ah.
and it gets an extra point of lightning damage for that one.
Nice.
All right.
So basically, it got hit with its own static cling.
Yeah, lightning rods. Try to get them with one, and they can't hit us back, and then lay into them.
Now he tells me.
Sorry, little distracted as the third one comes busting through it. He goes and shoots at it, and it kind of dodges at it, and kind of starts swiping at his harpoon crossbow. Um, as it's their turn. Um, Blake kind of runs up, kind of goes to shoot at one, rolls a 19 plus 2. Yep. And he shoots out at it, and it hits the thing, and it kind of rolls, with the harpoon kind of just like pointing out, giving him like this weird uh, flopping tire kind of roll, and hits the ground. And you see lightning hits it again. He's like, "That's 2. What about that third one?" Um, the third one rolling over on itself, its legs, and it starts to skitter up at now at this point, uh, as it starts to wear off on its stunned. So Zendira, it is now your turn.
We cannot hear you.
Now we can.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see here. So there's one charging towards me.
Yeah, it's kind of crawling its way on top of
The skiff, or whatever it is.
the skiff. It's about 15 feet away from you.
Okay. I'm sure this will go fine. I'm like, Dragonborn, I have an idea. And
Elix is oblivious.
I am going to cast, yeah. I'm going to cast Speak with Animals. How many slots? Yeah, I'm going to try that.
Boy, he really is drunk, isn't he?
This is probably going to go nowhere, but by golly, I'm going to try it.
What?
Okay.
So I've kind of got my staff, but I'm holding it in between, but like kind of using distance. I shout out as it's coming. I'm like,
I think these harpoons do something.
I'm like, who do you serve? And will you shut up?
So the words go out,
I don't even know
And
if they're
they
smart
will-
enough to answer, but
and they roll towards the buzzing creature thing, and it stops. It comes up. It gets on top, finishes crawling up over, dragging its back end up, and it kind of stops and looks up at you. And the whole area kind of darkens out as it kind of just leaves you, Zendara, and this creature kind of just looking at each other. And you're holding out your staff, and your words kind of roll off of the staff and like this wispy like green smoke, and then rolls from your staff outwards in like these puffs, and it kind of puffs past the thing. Its eyes, and it kind of glows out. It is still a construct, but as the magic hits this entity, the green starts to darken, almost like gristling clouds of thunder, as the lightning rushes back at you like a lit gasoline line.
crap, 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 crap.
And out at you for thunder damage.
I wanted to see what would happen.
I'm just like, good talk, right?
All right, top of the round, Brins. As the other ones fight to get up, but these harpoons are kind of holding one of them down, and the other one's still flopping around because it's missing, like, thrashing about. They don't seem very smart.
So, these harpoons, could I attempt to, like, grab one and...
Oh yeah, there's like two barrels. You're like up against one of them.
All right,
Be careful, they zap you!
And you said there's one, like, 15 feet away that was one that Zendara was interacting.
Yeah, it's like 10 to 5. It's like in between there for you because you're up here, Zendara. And it's
All right.
called on the skiff. There, it is about the size of a javelin for you, there, Grins.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it a shot and chuck it at the one that just zapped Z then.
Yeah. And because they're not a javelin, they are a finesse roll. So you can use your dexterity modifier for that roll.
Cool. Should I just, I can just roll a dagger roll?
Yeah, it's like a dagger roll then, I guess, because it's the same.
Cool. Oh. That's only a 9 for that one.
Not used to throwing speared long objects. Yeah.
Is the wrist. It's all in the wrist.
I mean, it's not the same. This is what he's used to. The other one's kind of like this. It's not it's kind of the same, but didn't quite catch that. It kind of close by.
I'm just like, as it like leaves my hand and I'm realizing this is a bad throw, I immediately start being like, these things are weighted weird. Like, these are weighted weird. What kind of
roll,
Jesus.
roll me a d6. Right?
D6 coming up. 6.
6. So you didn't hit it, but it went and like landed like underneath it, like in this very like shallow angle. Um, and it kind of like lifts one of its foot up, kind of looks over at you, and it all kind of darkens out. Um, it's just you and this thing. You're like, oh, this. We having this conversation again.
Come
As I looks over and then it stares up at you, glows a bit, and you can see the little harpoon as it kind of it wobbles a bit, 'cause it's not the best throw, but you can see the path it took, and the lightning comes streaking back, in the vision, and it gets hit for 5 thunder damage or lightning damage as
And
it strikes itself.
And as that happens, I start yelling. First I'm like, "That's what that feels like." Then I'm quickly switching to, "Did you see that throw?"
Any other ones, like 2 of those options would have gotten just a little too close to Zendira. Zendira would have to do like a dexterity saving throw, or it himself also should by like buzz and buzz. All right, it is Ilix's turn.
All right.
You're watching one of them kind of flail around. A few of the 2 of the Genasi and Balakan kind of like with whatever weapons they do have, it's kind of the one that they had pinned down. That's kind of flailing around on the floor, and then
Okay.
there's the one that's pinned up into the dirt off the side, and then your buddies
All
are
right.
over there fighting one of them.
Okay, Ilix is going to take a split second. Now, the one that the dwarf and the genasi are going against, it's still kicking, right?
Sort of, yeah, but they're both kind of like dogpiled it.
Okay.
One of them, the dwarf's is like smacking it with the thing. Genasi's got like this like hook sword, like sickle that she's just kind of like beating on it.
Okay. And all of the ones I can see are within 30 feet of me?
Yes.
Okay. Ilix is going to use his action, and Katya is going to blink out, and then she blinks back right next to the one that grins just through the harpoon at. But she looks a little different now, and the patch of scale on the side of her snout shimmers and sparks a little bit and goes kind of a blue sparkling coloration, and she's now attuned to lightning.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
And as my bonus action, I'm going to go ahead and direct her to attack that one.
Oh yeah. So she's kind of like,
and then I'm going to use my movement to get over next to Grins.
Yeah. So you're basically like, Katya on me, and then she does like 2 good hops up over to you and just kind of like sinks into your shadow as you start running over to Grins. And as you get up next to him, you see kind of the shadow kind of, as there are more figures there now, kind of pull up a bit darker, and then you see she kind of like rolls up around this creature, and this soft looks down at it and just starts to like nip at this thing. Starts to like tear out its wings. Give me an attack roll for Katya.
All right. Katya is. She just. All right. +3 plus proficiency bonus, and her proficiency bonus is mine. So she got. Well, why can't I do math? 18 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits. Roll me some damage. What's
All
the
right.
what's the damage?
So let's see. On bite, target hit is 1d6 plus proficiency bonus. Yeah. So 5 damage.
Oh yeah. She starts tearing it, pulls one of the smaller wings out.
Does it strike back at her with the static cling?
And then it hits her. It hits itself. Yeah. And then that would be, and it takes 5 lightning damage. Yeah. So basically, she rips off one of the wings and jumps off at it, and right as she jumps off, it goes. Hits
Oh no,
and
she
then-
doesn't. She doesn't jump off. It's just like she doesn't care because it's lightning. So she takes the full brunt of it. She's immune.
Oh yeah. So so it starts to come down, it hits the harpoon and kind of arcs out at Katya because she's the more large oppressive force. Kind of has her own charge to her. And it hits her snout. It kind of rolls down the few lapis spikes that come down her back as it kind of arcs across them. And then she kind of leans her snout down, and the whole thing's kind of with electricity as she gives a little. She comes off of it cooked and smoldered, and so one is done.
All right, that's Katya and I.
To the ground. The other two come back from beating the third one into a pulp. And they're covered in the same kind of like greeny bile. They go cleaning off, scraping their shoes on the side. Good job, guys. Shut down the run. Go for a little random encounter.
What was that? All of them?
Oh, yeah. There's
Oh.
only 3 that one. Zendaya runs up, kicks the other one that's kind of just pinned to the ground.
So like I'm getting, I'm getting up from getting knocked in my butt by the stupid charge, and I'm like, you son of a larval worm. Like that. How will you deal with this? And I start running at it, and I go down on all fours, transforming like as if I'm going to bear, but something goes wrong in the process. I come out charging as a goat. Just running and just like bump into the corpse. Yeah. Anyways, and as I kind of walk away, I like shake my head, like slam my head into the sides of the skiff, transform back out, and just like.
And the humming stops. Quiets out. Since you all had your own little experience with one of these creatures, can I have you all roll a wisdom saving throw for me?
Wisdom saving throw?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Different one.
15. Oh no, should we use the digital dice now?
Five.
Ekern kind of puts his
Just
hand
stop
on
using the white one.
Byra's shoulder. like That was offensive. I got your back, buddy. No problem. For um, the other two,
Thanks.
um, especially for grins, there's a very familiar feminine voice, kind of, kind of, uh, kind of comes over in the forefront of your guys' mind for Ilix and grins. It's like, there you are. I thought you guys would come for me. I did lay the seeds out. If you were a little bored out here in the desert, um, but it's nice to have some playthings. If you come see my work, wonderful. Uh, Looking forward to it. Um, shall I make it easy? Should I make it hard for you guys to come see me? It depends on how much time I. So much to think about. So much to do.
You have the rest of your life to think about it.
I do, but you guys don't. So I need to figure it out before um, you expire.
You rolled Ensvar, we will roll you.
But did you? But did you? I think you guys are going to be very surprised. I'm going to stick around. Uh, be a little inkling in your head. I'm bored. And it's nice to have conversation. The other two, drab, boring, uh, no vision, goals, no vision. Lots to do, lots to do. Talk to you guys later. Keep trucking there. You'll be there soon.
I am going to cut her throat. And then I'm going to watch all of the blood spill out of her body. And then I'm going to write a song about it as I dance in said blood. Then I will mount her head on a pole.
The whole skip kind of starts to again. It's like we're close to Camp 1. There's a large skull out here. Blocks some of the wind. Follow these red poles until we're done.
There's only grins and Alex who heard that.
Yep.
Okay, maybe failing the wisdom save wasn't so bad.
Do we feel any, like, weird side effects or anything? Or we feel good at this point or normal?
Roll a medicine check. How do you feel inside? Grins does a quick search through WebMD.
That's
do I roll one as well, or
if you're trying to see if there's anything wrong with you, yeah.
Nat 20?
Which cancer?
Definitely working with this dice for a while.
You don't feel different. You do feel like being watched. Because there's a constant feeling of eyes behind you. Like, not so much that there are, but more the feeling, like that nervous, paranoid feeling. Very mild. Just enough to make you move.
Believe I will take extra long to dump next time, just for her benefit.
Friends? Indigestion. That's about, like, Mitch gave me indigestion figures. You guys do your.
So do I get the sense that she knows our thoughts, or just she can see and hear?
With that 20, you know it's a bit more than scrying. Not to the point of like, um, it was you, right? Where you guys got to share the brain space.
Right. That was Zendara and I, yeah.
Not quite that, but like someone else is in the room. When you look around, the room's empty, but you definitely know there's someone else in the room. You're not alone.
This is very unsettling.
Yeah, it made me pretty sick for a moment too, but I got over it.
The whole skiff gets to this like large bleached out, they call a skull. More inclined minds would notice it's like the large bleached casing of old coral. Um, it's a large coral anemone and has been bleached over and exposed. It causes a good like 30 feet kind of cap, reaches out from the ground, gives a bit of shade, bit of reprieve from the sand and the wind. They pull the skiff up onto the other side, pull out their firewood because there ain't nothing for them to burn out here.
How tall? You said it's a skull. How high is it? How tall is it?
It is about 20 feet up. It is not actually a skull. That's what they call
Okay.
it. It is like a large bleached coral, like brain coral almost.
I'm assuming that I would have no idea.
Yeah. But you can see like the patterns and like the holes from each of these small anemones that used to live. Um, so you guys don't really get to see the outside. So yeah, from the inside, cat. Let's call that. Things don't get that big. Things don't get that.
Well, are we taking another break here? Is this a short rest kind of opportunity, or like how long are we camping here? Do we know?
We're going to lay the night, and we're gonna start up. We're gonna do this early. We're gonna wait for the sun to drop on its way up. Gives us less things to worry about. We should see better through the sand when it's dark.
The
All right.
Am I the only one getting like a little bit of Monster Hunter vibes here?
Oh, such a bad movie.
Oh,
That was a movie that was like so bad it was good.
It had some of those vibes going on. That's true.
feel bad for her. It seems to be the trend for her in the movies.
Didn't watch it.
True.
Mila Jovovich. Jovovich.
Resident Evil.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Resident Evils, but yeah.
Good.
I get that impression. Best case.
Smart. Mostly just her boyfriend trying to get her movie deals. All right. Yeah. So do a long rest. Blake and his crew do the watching out for the night. And then it's almost midnight. maybe just a little after. Go ahead. We get you all up. All right, quiet now. We're heading out. Second one, or the third one is right outside the ridge. So we're gonna hit that, and then it's all trying to figure out where we're going from there.
So I'm going to take a long rest. D&D Beyond.
Yep.
Cool.
You can be on long rest.
Got my health back.
You guys basically do desert sleeping. Deployed. That's things going back. Sleeping on top of a rucksack.
Like walk over to Ilix. I'm like, Dragonborn, where are we going?
No. The Oasis.
To
There was a caravan heading out to attempt to reach Oasis for a resupply run. It is hopefully in direction we are looking to go to find Golden Hexrod, so we tagged along.
yeah.
Oh, that's probably a good idea. Next time, can you guys just consult with me first?
Well, next time we will try to catch you when you are awake.
I appreciate that.
How's your head feeling?
It's a lot better now. It must have been
It was
a
him.
nasty punch
It
there.
was all grins.
Oh, it was all me. You're gonna throw me under the cart, huh? Like, I'm pretty sure this was all,
Wait,
you're
what are you guys talking
incriminating.
about? I got punched.
Yeah, he got punched. He got punched pretty good.
Duh, you got punched.
Man.
And you get up onto the carrier, the skiff. You start moving back out again. You guys pass the third one. And you see the red ones kind of from the direction you guys are going. That one obviously turns us around. We're gonna head out just a little bit. Keep your eye out for anything white. You see the dwarf is kind of just waving out his staff, trying to catch any kind of reflective paint they have on those things. Anybody looking out into the distance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm straining my beady little eyes, trying to see
vision,
anything that's
yeah.
white through these goggles.
Duh. I don't have dark vision, unfortunately, so I guess I'm not going to do much good.
Neither do some of them. But let's see. Then for Grins with dark vision, let me get a d6 roll. See what you get.
All right, another d6. Another 6.
Nice.
All right. So with that one, you guys you travel. It's dark, featureless. Every now and then the small shrub, medium-sized cactus, sand, blistering sounds of the wind. And then you catch up bright, like kind of like a flash. And then the dwarf kind of stops, kind of goes back to that spot. And the skiff goes kind of turns a little bit in that direction. It gets closer, and you run into a pole And then you get a bit closer, and you see two more. There's a blue one with the blue tarp. There's a yellow tarp, and then there's a white one up the furthest one for you guys. Blake goes, the midpoint. We missed 4. It's like, well, there's no turning back now, unless they do it for us. 5, everyone. We're at 5. This is the crossroads. So we're on the right track. This particular, you guys ended up hitting the next white pole, but in this case, it was from the 6. So you all hit midpoint. You guys travel a bit more. Elix, I'm going to have you roll your d6 unless Sandire wants to go and look out into the sands and try his luck.
You want to, Z?
We can't hear you.
How far apart are they placed?
Oh, it depends on the certain location. Like this one is out in what feels like where you guys are traveling, like a valley. You guys are going over some dunes. So it's basically whatever is in eyesight, and it's usually 2 or 3 football fields in length.
Okay.
So you're looking at the whole oasis is probably like 5-6 miles out, and there's like 9 of them placed in between there.
So when we get close to one of these things, I'm going to go and take a very good close look at it.
Yeah, so you go there, you get there's 3 good examples of them, different colors, tarps on them, but there's 3 good examples of what you're looking at. These large, it almost look like someone shaved down a tree or like telephone poles.
Okay.
About the same height.
Okay. And then I'll go ahead and I'll just go ahead and take a look. But I'm gonna see what I can see.
All right, roll me an investigation check.
Okay. 12. It rolled from 19 to 9. No.
So Ekron comes out and he kind of, fake puts his hand on one. It's like mahogany, not fucking mahogany.
Where'd you get mahogany?
Not mahogany. He goes, slaps a few times. He goes, yeah, I could probably see some of that. And with a 12, you were able to see about 100 feet out. So he goes, let me try to ripple out. And he kind of,
I walk up behind Z as this is happening, and I poke him. I'm like, is Eckern doing the pond vision thing?
What's that?
He described it as like he sees with ponds. It's like with ponds, and there are ripples in them.
Oh, yeah.
Pond
If you drop a rock in the water,
is he
you can
doing-
see when the ripples come back, like how far away the other shore, or if there are objects in... Have
No,
you
I
ever
think
tried
he
this?
just- No.
Is he doing pond vision thing?
I think he's doing pond
I
vision.
never understood.
It's pretty cool, though.
But, shh! It has to be very, very still in the pond, or he can't see anything.
You're like, shut up, and I'm just like,
so he goes, and this is what I see. And then he kind of holds up. He kind of gets a bit below you guys. He kind of holds up, and as you can see, like a projected topographical map of about 100 feet radius. And behind you guys and in front, just outside of the zone, right at the cusp. You kind of see it fuzz out, and then you can see the little white. And then you see a blue and a yellow and a white one all kind of together right on top of you guys. Then there's like two more blue ones that kind of go out and off to um, the left of the picture you guys are looking at. You guys don't see a yellow one at all. It's like so our next ones. If we continue out this way, we shouldn't get turned around. Uh, and it looks like our X rod is also out in that direction. I can see that one a bit further. Uh,
On vision. So good.
Well done, Eckern.
since Eckern has been attuned to Eckern is attuned to Zendira, it's not the other way around. Zendira, please roll me another wisdom saving throw.
What row?
As Eckern goes and
Oh,
radios
nat
out.
20. Plus 6.
So Eckern kind of gets like this shiver up his spine and goes, oh, that was offensive. I got you, buddy. He kind of fizzles out.
I look at Grinson, and it looks like
Poor Grins and Ilix has literally just every now and then through the trip, she has come up almost like she is in the middle of doing something and then kind of like stops and like kind of chats about what she's her findings and her thought processes. Just kind of almost like using you guys as like scrap notes. Or like a little like pager radio things. Log notes 5. Some of them starting into the bit where it just sounds like she kind of sits back on something that she was leaned over. She goes, and it's so rudimentary. The whole school of necromancy. I never understood the point. Uh, and now that I see more, it's so much broadens my idea of what we were scratching the surface of. I mean, think of it. What's the point of necromancy? I raise the dead to do what? Make an army to fight another army? But the way they taught us to sit there and make our dead, I could just remove the army. Why would I raise one to? It never. But then I found the new way to do things. It's not about the death. Matter of fact, it works better the less dead they are. Just using the full functionality of the body, being able to manipulate, mutate, grow. The more opens up not for the manipulation of death, but all of it. From the very beginnings, all the way until I couldn't wait any longer. You see, so like every more lanes, you would stop for and it'd be like an hour or two if you come back. But it was more than I expected. I didn't think I would be able to um, control the essence of a body the way I could now back in the schools. It's kind of like caveman knocking at the door. They just could not.
I look at Grins. Is she waxing philosophical in your ear as well?
I'm just kind of like hunched over in the corner of the skiff and just like glaring. Just glaring.
Oh, and then your old friend, you scaly son of a bitch. What a joy he is to talk to. If your joy was talking.
I sit down next to Grains and I start glaring out too.
It's like almost as friendly to talk to as an ice chest, uh, cold, um, again void of any uh, vision. But I have one now. Ever since she decided the fools I watched you take down Ansel. I thought that was cute. Uh, I just didn't do it well enough. So I kind of drug him back, uh, made him better. Uh, he turned out to be a wonderful catalyst for my final masterpiece. My uh, friend, if you would, the top, the peak. It's not about creating something from the dead that fights the living better. It's about creating the peak performance, the top, the the ultimate predator, the apex.
Ooh, you lady.
You guys get to the next one, um, and then the seventh one with no issue. Um, like she goes, oh, at this point now, you guys are just eating. Who knew you would have a kernel unit? And the wings kind of die down, and the guys go, whoa, 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 slow down. As like the whole wings die, the skip kind of slows a bit. Did the winds just die out? It's like eerily quiet.
Yeah, they did.
I'm assuming it's still dark.
But you do see some lights and a forest or a jungle area out far uh, along the horizon. And you see 8 is deep in like a ravine-ish kind of area, like a lowland spot, and then 9 sitting up close to the top of the dune out of it. It's like, we can see him now. Good.
Is that the oasis, that jungle up there?
I expected there to be less of it, but keeps the sand in its place. So keep as much greenery as you can. Skiff starts to head down towards that direction.
Well, I will be happy to
Do
see
I
trees
see?
again.
All right, so we can see some lights.
Mhm.
Do we see any lights moving about, like people with lanterns or torches, or they're all stationary? Hmm.
You can make a well, the 19 perception. Above where the lights are at, you don't quite see the stars since you don't have dark vision.
I do not see the stars.
Yeah, so like above the lights and like the area right above the lights, you don't really see stars.
Gotcha. So just like if you're in the city, you can't see the stars. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying? Gotcha.
or like when
Okay.
there's cloud cover.
Okay.
Well, we should probably make as much distance as we can while we can see where we're going.
Yeah. Yeah, the skiff picks up. They hit the ravine real quick from going down, which gives them enough momentum to get up into the top of the dune. They kind of pull over where the ground kind of hardens up from the sand to be more of a like a wet earth. It's been patted down due to consistent rain or whatnot in the area. It will heat rain if there's moisture. Um, there's like a small road with a few posts out. It's like, all right, I'm gonna bring it up to the edge, and we're gonna go in and check to see what we have. Are you guys following along, or you guys looking to go further out? Both
Well,
Briggs and Alex.
let me confer with my compatriots here. I turn around. I'm specifically talking to Ekern, but I'm trying to make it look like I'm talking to Grayson's entire. Roughly where was the golden hex rod?
Here. It's here.
Is here.
Somewhere out there.
So
It's a
going
little
beyond
blurry.
would be
Can't really get a good pinpoint of it. It just kind of radiates out like if you're staring at the sun.
so. So going beyond would be extraneous at this point. We are better off sticking with this crew to see what has transpired here and where it might be.
Mm-hmm.
It might at least give us some insight into what we're dealing with, you know. This place has been isolated for so long. Anything could have happened, and if we go, you know, if something bad has happened in this area, it might give us some clues about what we need to watch for.
Nah, agreed. Turning back to our brave captain here, I believe we will be staying with you and finding out what has transpired here.
All right, we'll do a quick brush through the growth through here. We'll cut our way straight where we last know the camp's at. See what we're looking at. Y'all able to drag somebody out if need be. Could use the hand. Depending on how nasty it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a dragonborn.
Okay. Yeah, turn around. Blake and the humans start cutting down some brush on there. You guys follow through. Takes a little while, and minor small bugs, buzzing kind of swipe away. Definitely not the size of a small fucking husky. And then gets to the point of where he cuts one couple of vines and a little shrub, and there's a clearing. He's like, well, this is not what I left last time. And there's 8 or 9 different shapes and sizes, but they're all kind of run down, sort of dilapidated huts. Some campfires going on about. People, they look grungy, tired, just walking about. A few of them are carrying stones, like slabs. Some of them are carrying long pole-like sticks.
Do any of them look like they have the same dirt as the horde that she tried to raise against?
They look like they've been rolling in the mud that they're in right now. The whole
But they
place,
look like they're in their right mind.
They are staring out into the void. Kind of like they're just like one track doing their own thing.
This is an oasis?
It's kind of marshy here. Trees and stuff are vibrant. Undergrowth was lush as you guys were walking through. Flowers got some color to them. And in the background, behind all of these huts, is a large, I would say, in the veins of like Mayan size ziggurat. Half built. Like one whole side, kind of like almost finished, and it's what isn't done is almost like this weird, like it's not done with any like thought or architectural process. It's just like getting printed as quickly or as ever, however it gets done.
Grins. Does this seem like your acquaintance's style?
I couldn't say for sure. But I don't like this.
I look at the
Alright.
the ziggurat, which sounds like it's kind of a little bit haphazard in its design.
So what is finished looks finished and done.
Okay, never mind.
Correct. It's just it's not any like rhyme or reason how it's getting put together. It's just they pick up a piece and they put it down where it's supposed to go.
Ilix is going to grab on to his grab onto the Ikola, pull it out, and cautiously approach one of the people who are just autopiloting, and just try and shake them and see if there's any kind of response.
You shake him. One is like an older man. He's like holding like a bundle of like these long, like a bamboo like sticks. They're all about this thick in diameter. And he's got like a good amount of them. He's holding on. You kind of shake him a bit. You kind of hear him. You kind of shake him a bit, and he's what it looked like he was holding on to him, barely. So like when you shake him, he kind of lets them all go, and he kind of goes. He gets down on his knees. He starts picking them all back up, putting them up on his shoulder.
I pull out a water skin and try and offer it to him.
He kind of goes and looks over at it. He kind of looks back. He keeps going. Slack jaw, just.
How about that? Is that your style or her style?
Yeah.
Yeah. She did have a thing for mindless servants, yeah.
Yeah. If anything,
Are we better off trying to deal with this alone? Is the crew liability here, or should we bring them along as extra muscle?
I mean, you're gonna have to convince them. I don't think they came out here to fight a battle. And I can't blame anybody who wants to not be involved in something of this scale.
We're gonna have to take a look at that ziggurat.
Right. Ziggurat. It has its roots in Undercommon.
Ziggurat?
Ziggurat, not ziggurat. It's common misconception. It has roots in Undercommon and Deep Sea. Ziggurat.
Well, we're gonna have to check it out.
Ziggurat.
Ziggurat? Nobody says ziggurat.
Ziggurat. Ziggurat. Ziggurat. Ziggurat.
Well,
We're gonna have to go check out that ancient temple that was just built.
It's not ancient. It's I'm gonna go ahead and turn to our traveling companions, and I'm just gonna ask them point blank. Well, what's your plans based on your findings?
You see the Genasi trying to like literally like holding one by the hand and trying to stop him from going. He's like, well, that's new. Try to snap them out of it. And if we have to load their unconscious bodies back on the cart, head back. This is lost. There's no
What was population of Oasis at last point of contact?
about 20, 30. We just started it maybe about a couple months ago.
Looks like they started that temple just a couple months ago.
I don't know.
I do not believe we are equipped to fight 20 or 30 and be able to bring them back.
I lean over to Z. I'm like, did our traveling companion just suggest that we're not ready to fight only 20 or 30 bodies?
Thank goodness they don't have a couple magic cannons.
Right.
He did, and then like we'd be like, "It's go time!" Like people and magical cannons. Now it's worth my time.
Well,
They all look very few.
I believe right now discretion is better part of valor. Perhaps you should go wait on your skiff until we can reconnaissance this and see what is going on.
Guys here in the back.
Reconnoiter.
Oh, it's cute.
Recon-
I just thought I was going to attack you with people, human beings. Oh. No, that'd be mean. Good. No. 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 No, they're good. You guys could try to sneak up on me? That's cute. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are planning something. I'll back you.
Well?
We have guys.
I think we have lost the element of surprise on this expedition, Dragonborn.
It's annoying enough. All right.
What are you talking about?
Have you not been hearing voices in your head?
Well, I mean, Ekern. I hear him all the time.
Nobody else.
Dreams and Dyer's brain life is like a hurricane.
That's pretty much just him. He's drowning everything else out.
Got you, buddy.
Well, I mean, I've heard Lady of the Wood, but you know that. What have you two been hearing?
A very disturbing and constant monologue. An old friend of mine expressing her plans to create an apex predator, graduate from necromancy. You know, that kind of stuff, just the norm.
And you think she has something to do with this?
I know she has something to do with this.
She literally just told us.
Gosh,
Also-
I wish I could hear her.
No, you don't.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure she can see everything we're doing. Not pretty sure. I know she's seeing us right now.
Can she see me? Can I sneak in?
Maybe if we go and stand in the corner of the woods and close our eyes and cover our ears.
Okay, tell me when you're ready.
Go in there.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, well, Does anybody here have any way of dispelling, or know of anyone who might have a way to dispel, you know, what is this magical spy nonsense that we've got going on here?
Well, I might be able to detect it, but I don't think I can get rid of it.
That's gonna be with me that soon. That's me. I was just about to have you guys introduced to.
Shut up, I'm talking to the gnome right now.
I just thought you might have wanted to hear the thing. But now you guys will have to wait. Fine.
What did she say? Well, I think we need to know what's happening in that ziggurat. There might be
can be
answers there. What?
You can be taught.
I don't see us sending anyone in there when she knows that we're coming to be a great idea.
How long has it been since she first popped into our heads? We've had at least one long rest.
About a day.
So sleeping it off's not gonna work.
And,
Throughout the night. So it's been morning. The sun.
she will be here for the foreseeable future.
Were all of those magic cannons destroyed? No. We could lay siege.
It's not a retroactive. The fact that you brought one of the games.
Yeah, brought this boy.
If
that
we
boy just in
leave-
case.
If we leave now, there is no guarantee we will be able to make it back through Sandstorm with said weapon.
Well, let's get a look around.
Right. So,
Well,
hey, beautiful.
I think
Now that you're in my head and hear everything, if you wanted to show off what you've been up to, where should I start looking?
Get some minor silence. Full opera film radio. I'm not talking to you. Rude.
Oh, I'm rude. Look, I'm not the one who injected myself into somebody's mind against their will.
Look at you. You're all interested now. Perfect. So, this is what I have going on. Taunt you until you argue back. All right. Listen up. I think your friend might even be able to hear this one. When you get this soft. And then the forest, you kind of get this loud. Oh, the beating is picking up. It's going to be done soon. The next day, almost upon us. Oh yeah, I believe it's there to finish, yes. Don't want you to miss out on the grand opening.
She's almost done.
No time to get the magic artillery.
I've been doing this baby for 4 months now. My labor of love. Didn't expect you guys to show up, but it's always nice to have an audience.
So what's up with a ziggurat?
Ziggurat.
I thought it was ziggurat. Your audio is really quiet. Maybe it's just me, but
No, I'm probably being quiet. Can you hear me better?
a little better.
And she goes,
Yeah.
oh, well, I figured it just needed a place to be. And once it finishes being the top of everything, the apex, it's going to need its own little throne to sit upon the world and stare at its own games.
So, answer me this. By definition, an apex predator is what kills any threats and can prey on anything, right?
It is the top, yep.
And you're saying that that's what you think this thing you're building is, right?
It's a project of mine. Let's hope it can.
It was a yes or no question.
It's a hope.
Uh,
But now that I have a audience, I guess you guys can help me test that out.
And if we kill your apex predator, doesn't that make us the apex predator?
And that's all you got.
Congratulations, boys. We're going to be at the top of the food chain before this is over.
Hey. Right back where we decided.
Perhaps you need trial run.
I can't get you guys to have you chicken up your mouth. Don't want to hatch in without you. It'll need something to eat once it's awake.
Well, I suppose we should not keep a lady waiting, hey boys?
Oh, there's a gentleman amongst some. Toodles.
Is she gone?
She's never gone, but she's quiet.
I'm putting powder on in the ladies' room. Don't be rude. Show up quickly now.
You didn't give us an address still.
So you have to go. Wait, oh, just the stairs are done. Yes. Climb as you go. Right on the other side. So dense. This is why I had to slaughter the rest of you.
A point not forgotten nor forgiven.
Couldn't do the job. And that's couldn't keep it going. Don't make me regret.
You're a little hard to understand again.
Don't let me regret leaving you alive. Show
Oh.
me you can do your job. Let's go. Chop chop.
To fill you in on that, Z, she is expecting us. She is at the top of the ziggurat. And yeah. She's hatching something. She needs us there so she can feed us to it.
Hatching?
That's what she said, yes.
We better get there before it hatches.
No hatching. I was like, why was I left out of this? This is important. We need to stop.
Well, I suppose we should get moving.
I suppose.
You guys go heading up the stairs.
Before we do, I turn around and talk to Morin. We have been summoned to Ziggurat. If anything large and imposing starts to make its way back down, get out of here. Run. Give warning to Dagger Tip Midway. This is very possibly only beginning.
Posing.
Couldn't hear you.
Yes, large and imposing, I think.
Oh, let me see. A little better. Little
Yeah,
better.
that is a little,
That is
a little
better.
better, yeah.
Huh. Now not better.
Not better.
I'm using both of my microphones.
It's
Better
still
or-
quiet.
Yeah, it's really
It's
quiet. I
still
don't know
really
what happened.
quiet. It didn't start out bad when we started playing, but it kind of went downhill.
Odd.
Oh, that was better when you said odd.
That was much better.
Yep.
All right. Still bad.
No,
it's
that's
much better.
great.
Yeah.
Okay. Must have been trying to connect to something else. All right.
So, yeah. So basically, if you see anything that looks like it could be an apex predator without being a goblin, run.
Okay. He kind of like turns around. He's like, Greate,
Yeah.
knock him out. We're out of here. Quickly, please. Okay. Thank you. Chop chop. Yeah. Cool guys. No, you guys. It was nice having you guys around. Thanks for the swarm. And it's like walking back through.
It was a pleasure to ride with you, sir, and hopefully we will again in the future. I wouldn't stick around if I were you either.
Yep. I am letting Dagger Tip Midway know this is fucked. All right. Good luck. Good luck, gentlemen.
If we
Good
don't
luck.
come back, don't ever come back.
Oh, we're not coming back. All right. Good luck.
Well, if we do come back, then you can come back.
Mm. That's a thought. All right. I said rack them up. Dwarf is like, huh? Clocks one over the head.
Be sure to let them know that it was the heirs who did this.
Yeah.
Heirs of what?
Who fixed it? Who fixed it? Not who did it.
Okay.
But that's only if we come back.
So don't come back. Do I just say that you guys still did it? Like I'm just like, yeah.
You can. That's okay. Yeah.
I kind of wave my hands at the guys. I'm like, guys, I got this. If we don't come back, tell them it's because we have ascended.
That
Could ascend.
He kind of looks over at
He's
there,
better at that.
being fancy. You'll find out when you're older. Oh, yeah. All right. They're starting to go and pack up their allies, knocking out all these people, dragging them by their feet. You guys heading up the stairwells? The stairwell
How high is this thing?
high.
How tall is each step?
Well, I mean, steppable.
Okay.
There's shallow steps, but there's just a lot of them.
But it's like an unfinished ziggurat that's like
Like a good 50 feet up, where the stairs actually go, and they're actually stairs. You guys head up, and there's still like a whole block section that's a good 10 feet tall, and you guys walk up some scaffolding that's around, made of all these little bundles of bamboo. You guys walk them up a bit. You get up on top. You guys look over, and just over that single 10-foot block, we see a nice floor. And all of the floor has kind of encroached inward over over the walls of the ziggurat. Vines, thick branches, large flowers. And you see her working in a clipboard and um, looking at petals of a flower, very large one, about the size of her. Um, and she goes, "Ah, look." And then just beyond some of the leaves and branches, there's this large pink hued, but mostly white egg, and it's cradled in a lot of these large leaves, like the inside of, or like the bulb of a flower,
How large is large?
like almost the size of the ziggurat you climbed. It's almost sitting behind it.
Can I make a nature check to see if I can recognize the kind of egg or?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a 21.
It is in the same kind of color as some large beetles. But you've never seen one like that. It also gives you images of what remind you of like the start of a flower, like the bud, right before it really opens up. Just starts, you start to see the colors of the back of the petals before they actually let go. That's how it's wrapped.
That's that looks like a big bug egg.
Your apex predator is a bug?
Bugs get squished.
It's a new species. Large,
A
best of
bug.
all worlds. You'll see. Let me go and get the battery. I believe he had some things he'd like to talk to you guys about. And Far, your friends have decided to come home.
They're like, down with my staff.
Like
Here.
he has almost like a lifeless puppet, arms kind of out, vines wrapped up, starts to lower him down, greener than before, veiny green, kind of reaching up around this now paler purple skin. The armor different, like the bronze green, kind of roiling warm underneath, steams, leaner, not bulging than he was before.
Well, how the mighty have fallen. I almost feel bad for him.
Kind of dropped him on his feet, and then kind of leans back. He puts his eyes down, rolls his neck around. Ah, good. Came back, make sure that I could really give you guys what I thought you deserved. Turned out what I was last time wasn't enough. She's been gracious enough to give me a second chance. New body on top of that. Wonderful. It's your turn now. 1, 2, 3, 6. Wonderful now. It's time for the revenge. How about that?
Are you
kind of-
sure
You
you
keep
want
turning
around
up
to...
like a bad cop of keys.
So,
I'm
let me.
connected now to the grand design. It feeds from my energy, my life. and it gives me power. It's time to play. Maybe, maybe this battle will just be enough energy of mine to awaken the grand design. Who's first? I'm hungry. Uh, and the wind starts to pick up around him, and the ground and the dust starts to pick up. They start to coalesce into these long pieces of stone, in different shapes. Some in like gnarly, sharp triangles. Other in like long sickle-like poles. Some in like these crescent-like hooks that kind of spin around. Um,
The heck kind of offense to nature is this abomination?
Life, eternal, the true meaning of necromancy.
Just another one of her standard creep projects.
Now that's offensive. Insolence. Time to die, you three. Tired of watching you breathe. It starts being already. It's
Grins.
large combat beef for you guys. Just about as he says that, you get this big, like, heart beating sound. And one of the petals of the egg starts to flap itself open.
Well, that's not good. Good thing we sent the others away.
The Grins is your call. Do we focus on Ansvar or whatever her name is? You never gave us a proper name.
First name, Tenebria. Is she sticking around or has she moved on?
She's sticking around.
Okay.
She wants to watch.
All right. I am just going to be the practical player to call out that it's 4:43 right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not going to be able
The
to
five
stand.
men have it in there. And then you guys will do combat, and then the reveal. So yeah, you guys have brought about the start of holders, and now are going to try to prevent the full hatching, and hopefully, if it does hatch, the metamorphosis of the Trask.
Of the what?
The
Oh,
Trask.
snap.
Tarask?
Oh.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
let's please stop that.
It won't be a Trask in the
Let's-
past. It will be in its larval form.
Tarask.
But the
There we go.
Trask.
Yes, please, let's stop that before it happens.
Strength 30. Okay. Constitution 30.
Oh, dude. You
Oh,
can't
look at
metagame like that.
I just looked up what it was. It's the first result. I didn't even spell it right.
it won't help them too much.
Yeah.
There's not much. There's not much you can really learn from it. Anyway, my friends, I appreciate it. I'm going to close things up, and I do have some company coming.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry for the game going up so long out into your evenings there, guys. Have a good day.